scheduled talk between the two DGMOs. This is the first visuals now coming in from outside the 7 LKM, where a key security huddle did actually take. These are inside visuals of the meeting that has taken place. Now, this is also indicative of perhaps what next and how are we really going about, because one thing is very clear, there is no ceasefire here. It is just a pause. There
is no ceasefire. This is the point to make repeatedly. If you're watching this broadcast, Shravan and I are telling you there is no ceasefire. There is a
pause.
There is a pause in our military response. But to assume there's a ceasefire, this word ceasefire, there's a pause in military response.
And you cannot really trust the Pakistanis here, because we are given to understand, and Honorable, as he has spoken to several sources here, and this is a confirmation coming in, that the Pakistani general does not want to stop here, because there is pressure that is coming in from China at this point in time. And that is the reason why there have been 5 ceasefire violations that have taken place through the night. So let's be very clear. There is absolutely no question of any sort of ceasefire here. We are monitoring the situation right now. Perhaps there are also options that are being carried out, and the government has made it clear. Operation Sindoor still exists. It is ongoing. The reason being that late last night also, there were a lot of developments. I'm given to understand a few things, I'm not perhaps in a position to reveal, but having said that, I can only indicate that even late last night, there has been movement. There has been movement inside Pakistan, and Pakistanis cannot deny it.
What do you mean there has been movement within Pakistan?
The movement essentially being on two fronts. One, we have also responded. So it's not like we have not responded completely. And the fact that what has happened inside...
But ours is a response. Ours is a response to it.
It's a response.
Ours is a response to it.
We have only been responding. Why did we respond earlier? Why did we respond on the second day? We responded because what were they trying to do? They wanted to target every military installation along the western border. Pathankot, Jammu, Srinagar, Avantipura, each of them were the targets of the Pakistanis. What were we supposed to do? Were we supposed to say that, look, hey, let the Pakistanis do whatever they have to? That is the reason why immediately, look at the strategic response that we have had. Because our air bases were supposed to be targeted, we ensured that we obliterate all capacities that the Pakistan Air Force had. And that is the reason why they were worried, because what do you really do? You cannot carry out with a ground offensive. So the only option was you start firing.
Pakistanis also needed a ceasefire because their economy is crumbling. They've just got a 1 billion debt. They have got an external debt of 131 billion. They have got very low foreign exchange reserves. They have lost their infrastructure. They have lost their weapon and aviation units in Rafiki, Muridke, Chaklala, Sukar and others. They have been victim to the very strong precision munitions which we have been using out there. Their internal polity was up in arms. Their former army officers were coming on televisions and saying we are rattled. Shehbaz Sharif was being called a coward who was unable to utter the name of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Shehbaz Sharif was called a Gidar, a Buzdil and a Kair. Pakistanis were crying in their parliament, and on top of that, they were probably a couple of hours away from their nuclear installations being hit. So this, whatever narrative spinning they want to do to save face for themselves, the reality is that after the BrahMos hit, the successful BrahMos hit today, which is it's a go-to weapon for all these strategic decisions. I think the Pakistanis did not expect us to use the BrahMos.
We are talking about a 300-kilometer range.
A 450-kilometer range with a 300-kilometer warhead, and which can fly. Which is not another loitering munition. It can change its direction as you want to hit the target, which means that it is essentially a missile only used under dire circumstances. That is the escalatory metrics for us. When they saw us use the strike capability of the BrahMos, I think they completely freaked out. Yes.
Here also there is